Hi, namaste. So let's see, let's continue with the discussion of law of attraction. As I said, I'm laying the groundwork right now for some of the more refined principles, but this is important. So let's see, some of the things we've talked about are that it's a co-creation with the divine, that's important. To always ground your manifestations, at least if you're going to follow me and my principles that I have tested, and also if you're a spiritual person, and talk a little bit more about that, but always include the benefits to other beings around you and in the world and on the planet at this time. So I feel that's very, very important. So let's continue on with that. The reason I think that I am, as I said, bothered by some of the presentation of the law of attraction is it seems to build in more selfishness. Now, of course, that's going to depend on the person. But what I urge you as a spiritual being and growing being who is here for a purpose is to focus on the benefits, as I said, for yourself, and then how will it help others. So this is also really good if you have any negativity towards money. As I mentioned, a lot of religions warn against being greedy, being overly materialistic, and so that's why I'm saying really ground it in, and I think it will really make it more successful, is because if we have this idea that money is bad and people are bad who have money, you have to basically convince yourself or know that you're not going to be one of those people, right? You're going to be someone who uses money, as there are people who do use their money, whether they're middle class, whether they're poor, and they help with what they can, whether they're middle class or whether they're wealthy. There are people who use their money for good. And so you have to basically align with the good, and in yourself and in your heart understand what you will do, how you will help yourself as a precious being, how you will take care of yourself. So maybe that today is something to talk about. I think the danger in always thinking that this better car is going to help, or a bigger house. You already have a house, but now you want a bigger house, or sort of just getting into the fantasy of it. I watched a video where they showed, private jets and somebody coming out of a limo, and that's all fine, but I know for me, for example, I don't really want a private jet. So what I'm going to urge you in this video is, before you even get to getting clear, though it's connected with getting clear, I urge you in this particular video to first work on self-love. Now, I know that seems like a separate topic, and I kind of thought it was too. That's why I'm sharing this with you. It actually isn't. So, like in the last video I mentioned Shakti Gawain's book, Creative Visualization. In this video, I would like to mention You Can Heal Your Life, or any work by Louise Hay. Okay, many of you have probably heard of Louise Hay. She is currently in her 80s and going pretty strong, and a real pioneer. If you listen to her, you can listen to some of her stuff free on YouTube. People have sort of put it out there. But I feel that she would even understand. It's so helpful, and you will feel so much better. You can really feel the love and the positive energy and the good that she is putting out. So, self-love. I am actually seeing that is really key to manifestation. This is something that Louise Hay talks about. And as I said, at first I was like, I don't know, I think self-love, I don't know. But I'm starting to now believe her and others who say, if you can get that together, everything else starts to fall into place. Relationships, living conditions, abundance, in an amount that works for you. Okay, the sun's getting kind of crazy here. Let me see if I can change the camera a little bit without it falling down. All right, so starting with self-love. As as the bases. And how does one do that? One first thing I would recommend is start with Louise Hay's book. She also talks about something called mirror work, where you literally, and again, it kind of sounds silly, you look in a mirror and you talk to yourself in a positive way. And I know you may have seen that, you may not have. She talks about just saying your name and saying, you know, if your name is Mary, Mary, I love you, I really love you. You know, if your name's John, looking in the mirror, looking in your eyes and saying, John, you know, you're a wonderful person, I love you, and so on. And if you even do it a couple days, you start to feel it. You start to feel different. You start to feel a little bit better. So again, without getting into all the ways that you can do this, the mirror work is one wonderful way. Affirmations is another wonderful way, and I'll talk about that more in other videos. But find a way that works for you to build your self-esteem and self-love. That is the basis from which to create. You will find it easier to create, okay? And because you'll feel that you deserve, you'll have a sense of being okay with the positive. Because if you're not okay with receiving these wonderful things that you're asking for, you either won't get them, which is more likely, or if you get them, and we've seen this so much with many famous people in the world, you'll get them, but you won't be able to hold on to them. Or it'll bring a lot of turmoil. I mean, I'm not even going to name some people, but I'm just thinking of some stars, singers, actors, but who very, very talented, maybe got a great amount of fame, great amount of money, and it seemed to really destroy them, or at least amplify what was there. I mentioned that in a previous video. And that is also why to not be afraid of money itself, because what money is going to do is amplify who you are and what you are and how you're going to be in the world. So if you can establish your values and your self-esteem, when you become more abundant, you will be a force for positive good. So start with self-esteem. Start with working on that. That's what I have found as working for me. In the past, even if my self-esteem was lower, which it was, my self-esteem has gone up and down, which probably some of you can relate to, and I'll relate as to why. You might want to watch one of my earlier videos on this channel. I talked about going through unemployment and depression. I know it has victim in the title. You're not a victim. It talks about some of what I went through, and so coming out of that, I was very depressed. So I have dealt with depression, I have dealt with anxiety. So this is why I urge you, even if you don't particularly feel that's an issue, start with reading about self-esteem and self-love, and that will provide you, I promise you, with the base to manifest what you desire. Okay? So, blessings. Have a beautiful rest of the day or evening if you're watching this late at night. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.